Hey, it's Chelsea from Your Health Options, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a kefir water ferment. So what is kefir water? Kefir water is a functional probiotic drink. What does that mean? It's functional in that it has a functional purpose in our body, and I'm rubbing around my tummy area because its purpose is to help to keep our microbiota, which is our gut's own bacterial colony, in happy balance. If we don't have that in happy balance, it can become what we term dysbiotic, and what that means is just out of balance. And if it's out of balance, then it has a flow-on effect into our health, and we can become ill. And there's all manner of symptoms that can go along with becoming dysbiotic, including gastrointestinal systems such as either too fast or too slow bowel movements, bloating, reflux, skin problems such as acne or psoriasis or boils, mental health issues such as low mood or anxiety. There's a heap of different symptoms that can come about from being dysbiotic, and the reason being is because these guys outnumber us. Bacteria, the probiotic bacteria, outnumber our own body cells, so it's really important we feed them well, keep them balanced. So feeding them is the prebiotics. The probiotics is also to keep them in good numbers, okay, so to keep your colony up and healthy. So a kefir water ferment, now it's different from a kefir milk ferment, so the grains are different looking. So the kefir milk grains, you'll notice, are a cauliflower kind of shape, they're kind of cute little miniature cauliflower florets. The kefir water are more of a round, clear, spherical grain, and they're separate from each other. And I will show you when I finish decanting off the first ferment into the second ferment, so you can have a look and see what they look like. So the reason I do kefir water as opposed to a kombucha, which is a similar probiotic, functional probiotic drink, is that this is not using caffeine, which traditionally we're using kombucha ferment. It's fermented on a black tea. Okay, various types of black teas are used for different flavors, but this is simply just good quality filtered water. Now that is important because these grains are very sensitive to chlorine. Okay, chlorine will kill them, and of course we don't want the fluoride and other toxicants and sediments in our water anyway, in our drinking water. So get some good filtered water. If you haven't already got a great filter on your kitchen tap, invest in one of those. It's not a huge investment, it's a very wise investment for all manner of different health conditions, including pineal gland health, thyroid health. Okay, that's another video for another time. But the filtered water is the main sort of medium that you're going to be using to put. You start off with just a tablespoon is enough of grains to start your ferment, and then the food that you're giving the grains is a good high quality sugar. Okay, now the high quality sugar is important. Using the highest quality you can get ensures that the minerals remaining in that sugar will actually improve the health of your grains. Okay, so I go for a Rapadura. Okay, now Rapadura is from the first press of the cane sugar. So there's a lot of different processing steps in producing what we commonly know as table sugar, so that white table sugar. The first press, okay, so it goes through several pressing techniques, and then in the end to get white they bleach it. Yeah, I know, gross, that's why we say don't get white sugar. Stick with your raw, even better, your Rapadura. Because out of that you get your molasses and your Rapadura first press, right? So there's loads of nutrients, as we know, in our molasses, but also in our Rapadura as well. So I feed Rapadura to my grains because I know I'm keeping them really healthy and happy, so that I can get a really healthy fermented kefir probiotic drink at the end product. So I take my jar, okay, that's my first ferment. Now I will show you in a separate video how to do a first ferment. This is about a second ferment. Second ferment, so after sitting, look, the variables of fermenting kefir water do change, and heat is and humidity are two variants that will change throughout the year depending on where you're at. So in summer, of course, that means that a fermenting process will be shorter, and in winter it will take longer. So you just need to keep an eye on it. Some key indicators, you can see the actual bubbles, okay, of CO2 forming on top of the water, and that indicates that the fermenting process is occurring. You can even taste it and check it yourself if you're not sure. It should still be a little bit sweet, but starting to sour and not get as sweet as what you originally started when you were simply just using sugar and water. The color will change as well as you're fermenting. So you'll start with, if you're using Rapadura, you'll start with a really lovely caramel color like this. This is actually lightened. It will be darker than this, and it will lighten up as it's fermented, okay? So what I've done is simply taking a jug and a little strainer is to strain the main ferment, so the first ferment, off into a second jar. I've got a little bit, of course, left to go. So these bottles, I think, are about 1.25 litres. So I've strained off a litre so far. Now, if I strain off a little bit more, you might even get to see these grains. And so these grains are, like I said, little round spheres. And here we go, there they are. And we need to just shake that. There we go. I can show you what they look like. So that's them now. It's going to make a little bit of a mess, but if you get close enough, you can see. I don't want to touch them too much because I don't want to upset them, and the focus isn't going to focus too close in there, but they're little spherical balls. You can Google it to get a closer picture, but as a group it's like that. There's a few tablespoons worth in there because as I said, I started off with 1 tablespoon. And they will proliferate, they will grow if you keep them really happy and you're giving them a good quality sugar. Now, if you can't get your hands on microbiotia, you can always use a lower quality sugar, like a raw sugar. You can add molasses into the water to remineralize them, okay, to give them some more nutrients. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop those grains back in my main ferment, splash, because I need those guys. And I'm going to pour the rest of, so I just use like a little funnel in my jar, and I'm going to pour the rest of that into my jar. Now, I want to leave a little bit of room because in your second ferment is when you add your flavors, okay? So, and of course, being a naturopath, we're a nutritionist. As a naturopath nutritionist, I am going to look for health benefits with what flavors that I add. So what do I mean? Well, I mean that I use turmeric, okay? That's some turmeric right there, as you can see. I chop a little, you don't need a lot with the ferment, okay, to get the nutrients through, because with the second ferment, what you're going to do is you're going to leave this on your bench for another 24 to 48 hours, depending, again, remember I told you, depending on the temperature. You'll be able to gauge it because you'll be able to see the bubbles again forming in your second ferment, okay? So I've left a little bit in the neck. See a little space I've left in the neck of that? So what I'm going to do is I've chopped up a little bit of turmeric and I'm going to pop, it would be not even an inch, okay, of turmeric. Oh, it smells amazing. Fantastic anti-inflammatory, okay? Of course, without the fats and the pepper, this is going to be a localized gastrointestinal anti-inflammatory. If I wanted to absorb it through my gastrointestinal system to utilize it as a systemic anti-inflammatory somewhere else in the body, I would need to use, of course, the pepper. We're looking for the piperine in the pepper and a fat to help to transport that across as well more effectively. We will transport a little bit, but it won't be anywhere near as much. So I like to use one of my favorite herbs, ginger. Oh, it smells amazing. So this ginger, again, you only need a tiny bit. This one's looking a little bit worse for wear. It's been in my fridge for a while. That was huge, like it was like 5 times the size. Again, just a little bit, you know, like I've cut up the tiniest piece, less than an inch. Again, pop them into your ferment. Now, lemon. Lemon's amazing. So why is lemon amazing? It does so many amazing things for us. It helps us to detox. How does it do that? It helps us to increase our bile flow. So our bile comes from our liver, which if you can find your ribs and you walk your fingers along the bottom of your ribs here, underneath there is your liver, okay? And also in there is your gallbladder. We want to keep those guys happy and healthy, okay? Because they help us to detox. The bile, of course, is stored by the gallbladder and released when we need it. If you smell lemon, you will instantly start salivating, and that's what we want, to be able to start that digestive enzyme release to help us digest our food easier. So you might have heard about people saying have some lemon juice in water when you wake up, or have some apple cider vinegar, which does a similar thing, because those bitter receptors help us. I'm still salivating now after smelling it. Those bitter receptors help a cascade of effects through the digestive system, help with the bile release. So what I do with this is I don't use the juice for ferment, I use the juice for when I'm making green juice in the morning. I use the skin and I simply just cut, again, just a smaller piece. The skin, of course, being where a lot of the essential oils reside. So we're having a really, really magnified effect with the polyphenols and the other phytonutrients, the essential oils, otherwise known as the volatile oils, all have amazing health properties in them. And we pop them all into here. Now I'm going to top that up, but not all the way to the top. I'm just going to use my funnel in case I make a mess. Just leaving, I don't know, about an inch, because we don't want this to explode. Okay, for anyone who's fermented before, that includes beer making. So anyone who's ever made beer, you leave it for too long to ferment and it will explode because the carbon dioxide will build up in the bottle. You can see the little bubbles of ferment around the top. Keep an eye over it for the next 24 to 48 hours and those bubbles will increase. You may even notice that the level of liquid will rise in the bottle. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. So you can do lots of different things for your second ferment. I will often use fruit that's coming to the end of its life. So at the if it's just fruit that's, because we eat organic fruit, so it has of course a shorter shelf life than your fruit that's been heavily sprayed by pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, and I don't want all those horrible toxic chemicals in it. So I get the organic. But it does have a shorter lifespan because of that. So I use them for these kind of purposes, for using in my second ferments, and I use them to make up stewed fruits to pour over other dishes and in other things. So it's never much waste going on in my house. So now we have our first ferment. So we'll go and have a look at the other video called Kefir Water First Ferment to see how we do our first ferment.